Hello, today I just fancied a low pressure, simple, fun play with my art materials. I got out my Pith Oroblanco A4 sketchbook where I had swatched out my new Himi gouache paints. I got the set of 48 half pans during the Amazon Prime event. I got a few other art materials then as well, so I'll link to the video down below where I open them up and do this swatching. I didn't paint with all 48 colours here, but I just wanted to get a feel for their texture and how they blend and everything. It seems to have been a theme of mine lately to do sketches over the top of a pre-painted background, and I've chosen to do the same again today. I'm using a Caran Luminance pencil, and it goes down really nicely over the top of the gouache. I thought I'd just do a quick sketch of the money plant which grows in my living room. I'm not worrying too much about accuracy or anything. I haven't done a graphite pencil sketch first, and I don't have any particular plan in mind for this piece. This is the Himi gouache set that I used, and I'll be using it again later in the video. I hadn't wanted to use a dark coloured pencil to draw the plant. I'd kind of fancied sticking to the same colour theme, so I decided to roughly outline around the plant with white gouache. The Himi gouache isn't as pigmented as my professional gouache paints, so it's not quite as opaque, but it's still enjoyable to use. I have to be careful here of reactivating the underneath layer, so I try not to work for too long in any one area, but that's pretty normal for gouache painting anyway. I'm using one of the Himi brushes and it's absolutely fine for this. So that makes the plant stand out a little bit more, but more than anything it was just really enjoyable to do. I felt like painting something else with the Himi gouache paints, so I pulled out this book, How to Be a Wildflower by Katie Daisy, from my bookshelf. It's a lovely hodgepodge of all sorts of things, and I really like the illustrations throughout it, and I think they lend themselves well to being done in gouache. I'll just give you a quick flick through of it. I really like these moth illustrations and wondered if I should paint one of those, but decided to do a couple of birds instead. I have a real soft spot for painting birds. I'll keep the painting in real time just for a few moments so that you can see what the laydown is like. I'm using a couple of different yellows here and they blend together quite nicely. This is the consistency of the paints straight out of the pans without the addition of very much water at all. I'm using the paint quite thickly, and it's not my intention to do like super detailed, neat painting here. For this branch, I'm using the paint with a little bit more water in it. I'm using the round brush here, which is supplied with a set. It's got a good point, but it's quite soft, so I do need to use some other brushes for the rest of this painting, which are a little bit firmer and smaller. I did find it harder to do fine details with the Himi gouache than with my professional gouache paints. I think that's because with the Himi gouache being less pigmented, you can't water them down as much without losing opacity, so you're using them thicker, which makes details harder. And they also have a slightly more gel-like consistency. I'm not saying you couldn't get good detail, but you'd have to work a bit harder at it. All that being said, these are absolutely great fun to use, and I really enjoyed doing this painting. The other paintbrushes which I use are from Rosemary & Co.'s Ivory range. Next I get out this glass pen and coloured inks set to do some writing similar to the style in the book. Sorry, I'm a bit out of shot for this first one. This is the pen that I used, and it's actually quite nice for sketching as well. And here are the original paintings in the book. So that was great fun to do and exactly what I wanted from an art session today. And I hope you've enjoyed seeing more of the Himi gouache paints in use. Many thanks for watching, and thank you too for all the lovely comments on my last video. Bye for now.